You can't follow Jesus and a pastor of a church. Jesus said that his sheep hear his voice and he knows them and they follow him. Following a pastor and listening to his sermons does not mean you're following Jesus. And if any pastor or preacher is hearing from Jesus at all, they would know to point you to Jesus and not to themselves or their church. If pastors were really doing the work of Jesus, no one would come back to them. They would go directly to Jesus. They would be hearing Jesus, and they would be following Jesus, not the pastor or the church. The model today that is set up in the organized churches is so backwards, it only works with the hirelings. Jesus called the pastors hirelings. They are hired helpers, and they are not hired by God. They are hired by people who want to hear the sermons that are of their doctrines. As long as the hirelings are speaking the doctrines of men, the people will continue to pay them. But if any pastor starts speaking the truth of Jesus and pointing to Jesus, no longer are the bills going to be paid, and that pastor is going to lose his income. Pastors and the churches live off of people giving to them the money that they need to support their organization. And if they start pointing people to Jesus and not to them, their organization would fall apart. Go to Jesus and not these organizations. These organizations are hirelings, and they are not hired by Jesus, they're hired by men who want to hear the doctrines of men. If you want to know the truth, listen to Jesus, because he is the good shepherd, and his sheep hear his voice and they follow him. You cannot follow a hireling and Jesus. Follow Jesus and you will not be led astray. His sheep truly hear his voice and follow him.